Hello, I'm Jim Cummings, the writer and director of The Wolf of Snow Hollow and The Beta Test, and you are listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 366, where tonight we will be talking about 2025's Wolfman. Unfortunately, we are Toddless tonight. He has a little earache. Poor little baby. Sorry, Todd. But I'm here, of course. But no, seriously, get well, Todd. Yeah, he's battling an ear infection right now. I know those suck. I don't think I've ever had an ear infection as an adult, so I
Me
can't
neither.
even imagine, but I'm here with our favorite though, Steve, an enemy of America now. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I mean, maybe my last days on the podcast, I'm going to be exiled or killed or something. I have no idea, but we'll soon find out, I guess. I'm doing okay. It's very fucking busy at work and stuff. It's a lot going on in my type of work, but yeah, excited to talk some horror. Watch a lot of horror lately. Went to see this in the theater, but I'm going to be honest.
Oh,
I had a moment at the theater.
okay.
So
You saving
maybe
this, or are you just talking now?
I'm just gonna say now because that's nothing
Okay.
to do with like Wolfman itself.
All right.
So I tend to go to theaters when it's at its like lowest amount of people. So
Yes.
I went
Same.
Sunday morning, because who's
Such an
gonna go
old
watch
person move.
it? Yeah, exactly, right?
But I'm the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went Sunday morning, and one of my biggest pet peeves in the world is being late to a movie. Like, I just refuse to do it. It stresses me out, so I always go early, and I did so. I was not like super early, but early enough to make sure that there'd be no issues. And I was like third in line for the concession stand, which is also where I get my tickets because they like merged them together. And there's like these two kids there arguing with a manager and an employee. And they said they're like on the phone at the same time. They're like, okay, well, you need to talk to my mom. She's coming to the theater. So they just wait. The manager and the employee are just standing there waiting for this fucking woman to come. And I swear to Christ, 20 minutes of them just like holding up the line. The line is getting a lot bigger behind me. Everyone's freaking out because they're late for their movies and everything. All that to say, despite getting there early, I fucking missed all the previews of the movie. Like I walked in as the final trailer was playing for a movie. I didn't even really catch what it was. I'm not even sure. It was like some person and like a dark ghost in a black veil and stuff like that, like attacking people. It's I don't
Ah,
know.
yes, I got that. The woman in the yard.
Yeah, something like
Yes.
that. I just because I was like kind of setting myself up, I have big jacket. It's cold as fuck here. It's like minus 20 right now. So like I didn't really see what was going on, but yeah. So frustrating. And I love the trailers. Even though I've probably seen all these trailers because we do the podcast and I watch them and I put the news on Discord. I just love that experience of watching trailers on the big screen, robbed by one person being a total Karen. I'm
That's
pissed.
yeah, that sucks. And I agree. I also like Sam was like we'll just go later. I was like, no, I actually like sitting down and watching the trailers before the movie. Like it just I like to see because sometimes there's like even if it's you've seen
Mhm.
all of them, but sometimes maybe there's just one that you haven't
Yep,
seen. You're like, all right, this
exactly.
is something new. As far as like most interesting trailer I got was definitely The Presence. It comes out this weekend. It's a Steven Soderbergh directed horror movie starring I think it's Lucy Liu and it looks really cool. Sort of a almost like a found footage slash POV
Mm,
style horror
nice.
movie. It doesn't look like full found footage because like it's shot nicely, so I think it's more like POV style. But it looks really cool. It looks potentially like it could be really, really creepy. And yeah, I'm excited to see it. I did get The Woman in the Yard as well. That one looks about as generic gets,
Yeah,
I
from what
think.
I
But
caught, yeah, it looked
yeah.
pretty generic.
Yeah, sort of looks like a, I mean, it's a Blumhouse production. It looks very like cash grab for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's all pulling in all the young teenage
Yeah.
crowd or
It's gonna
whatever.
be this year's Night Swim, basically.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Like it reminds me very like La Llorona type
Ugh,
esque
yeah.
thing. So I'm not very excited for that. The trailer dropped though today, I think it was, for a movie called Opus, A24 production with Ao. She's from The Bear. I'm not going to butcher her last
Oh
name.
yeah, right. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's great.
And John Malkovich and also Juliette Lewis. It looks like a cult movie.
Nice.
Menu sort of looked like the menu-esque. So it looked very interesting. So I'm very excited for that one as well. I assume your theater didn't do the popcorn thing, Steve, where you could bring anything you want and
No,
fill it.
but you get a free popcorn.
Oh,
That I didn't even know. Like I totally just like they're like I bought two popcorn. She's like, here's a third popcorn. It's free. I'm
wow.
like, okay, she actually like doubled it so I can bring it home. And yeah,
Nice. Is that your go-to popcorn? Is that your
yeah.
movie snack of choice?
So I get a pack at Costco. It's $30 for two tickets, two popcorns, and two drinks. So yeah, I mean that's why I always get that.
Nice.
You're more of a nacho guy, right?
Sam's the
Sam
nacho
nacho.
one. I like popcorn, or I'm a definitely sweets guy, whether it
Okay.
be like, Sour Patch Kids, Twizzlers, or something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sometimes, you put the chocolate in with the popcorn, some of
Is that
those
good?
Nestle
I
Bunch
never
of
did
Crunch.
that.
I personally think it's pretty good,
Okay.
but it's not necessary. It's definitely a once in a while thing for me. I don't do it every single time, but
Right.
it is good every once in a while. But yeah. As far as any other news, I don't really got much. Anything, Steve, else on the front?
I will say that there is a movie club next Friday, so
Nice.
the week after this episode drops, we're gonna watch Moon Garden, which is a movie on Shudder that people voted for to watch, and it's one that's been on my watch list for a while. Apparently, it's very, very good. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what it's all about. Apparently, it's very like fever dreamish, so it's the kind of movie I like. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So if you want to join, just join our Discord and you'll be able to watch it with me.
Yeah. Yeah, movie club. I mean, these are the dog days of winter right now, so it's like anything just to sort of pass time right now. So yeah, join
Yeah.
us for movie club next week. Super Bowl predictions will be coming up next week
Oh,
as well. Our
the
Super
Super
Bowl
Bowl bet.
bet. Our Super Bowl bet. Do you have a prediction for who's going to be in the Super Bowl, Steve?
Yeah, it's gonna be the Chiefs for sure, and then probably the Eagles because
Chiefs, Eagles.
I don't like either of them. So,
Yeah.
what about you?
I hope it's not. I mean, I hope it's not that because we literally just got that
Right.
2 years ago. I mean, you're probably right, but I'm pulling for the Bills.
Oh, me too. I'm holding for the Bills, but
Yeah,
it's not my prediction.
right. I think the Bills could pull it off. So I'm gonna say Bills Eagles just to be different. But I would love to see the Commanders pull it off as well. I just think rookie quarterback, it's gonna be tough for them.
Mhm.
Eagles seem like a pretty complete team. But we'll see. And then lastly, before we head into what watch, I would like to say I didn't want to save this for next week for news because I felt like it was pretty important to mention it now. A rest in peace to David Lynch,
Yeah.
obviously iconic director who we lost just this week. Of course, best known probably for Twin Peaks. Also, did Mulholland Drive amongst many other projects. Eraserhead as well, right? Is that
Yep.
yeah? Which that movie is fucking wild. That's
Yeah.
something maybe
Oh,
we should
they're all
cover.
wild. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I, I I
I'd
think we
cover
should
it.
cover Eraserhead. Maybe we should cover Eraserhead as like a tribute to David
Yeah, we
Lynch
could. Yeah.
at some point. 'Cause I think that was sort of his closest to horror thing. I mean,
Yeah.
although Mulholland Drive can be considered horror at times, I think Eraserhead would be a really interesting discussion. So maybe at some point we will do that. But yeah, once again, rest in peace to David Lynch. Passed away at aged 78. Alrighty, Steve. I think that's about it. So
Mhm.
why don't we get into what watched? I should also say it'll be a shorter episode this week, everyone, since we are toddless, no trivia this week, and we're saving news for next week. So, what you been watching this week, Steve?
A lot, but so I picked two of the ones I want to talk about the most. First one, as I did last year, something I really enjoyed doing last year. I asked listeners to pick movies for me, so make them a recommendation, and once a month I review them on the podcast. I still have three spots left if people are interested in sending me a movie. However, this year there is an asterisk to that. I am recommending a movie back and then getting the feedback before the episode releases so I can give not only my review, but the listeners' review of the movie I picked for them. So the one I got was from our buddy Eric, and that is 1972's Deliverance, which I watched over on DVD. I'm not sure what service it's on. So this is the only one from all the picks I got this year that I had seen before, but it's been a really long time. So I'm like, okay, still going to keep the pick because I really want to rewatch it. The story, basically is a bunch of guys. They want to go like canoeing in I think it's the Tennessee woods, and they like meet this group of hillbillies, and they decide to pay the hillbillies to bring their car to like the end of where they're kayaking, and just so they can kayak down the river and then have their car ready for them. And basically they start doing that, but shit starts to happen. The course is rougher than they expected, and some of the hillbillies catch up to them and start doing some like really gross things to them. So this one stars Jon Voight and Burt Reynolds, most notably. Yeah, this is one that definitely like had a huge impact, I think, in film. I can only imagine what it was like to watch this in 1972, because at that time, I'm sure it was extremely shocking and extremely like graphic and everything like that. But I feel that in 2025, the impact is quite lessened, because I've seen way worse at this point. There's a lot of movies that do it way worse. And the movie, although it has some really shining moments, especially one of my favorite movie scenes of all time, when there's a banjo duel between one of the guys and like a kid, like a hillbilly kid. It's got a really like infamous banjo theme that I'm sure you've heard in your life. And yeah, it's just, I found it kind of boring at times. It's very long. There's a lot of times where the guys are just kind of doing nothing. They're just going like kind of riding down the river. When it does get to the infamous kind of rape scene with the hillbillies, it just, I don't know, it's gross. Yeah, of course, it's rape, and I don't like seeing that, but it just didn't feel as impactful as I remembered it. So yeah, I don't know. Deliverance, I still enjoyed watching it, and I just don't think it's one I need to see again at this point. I gave it 2.5 stars. If you want to watch it, I'm sure it's available somewhere. Like I said, I had it on DVD from a long time ago, but yeah, that was Deliverance. And the movie I gave Eric as a kind of an exchange was Hell Comes to Frogtown, which he gave a 3.5 stars out of 5. And he said basically, this one was fucking wild, and I don't think anyone other than Roddy Piper could have pulled this off. Cheesy one-liners, some decent action, and some cringe seduction scenes made this one a blast to watch. Oh, and Frogtown is literally a town populated by mutated frog people. I gave that one to Eric because last year he gave me a Roddy Piper movie called The Chair. So I decided I'd pay back the favor this year and give him one of my favorite kind of obscure Roddy Piper semi-horror films. So check out Hell Comes to Frogtown. So it's a really fun movie. It's on Shudder and Tubi, I believe.
Yeah, I've never seen that one, but it sounds really fun. And I think it's something. And after Frogman, I think maybe I'll watch it.
You really should. It's a fucking wild plot. Like, it's really, really out there, and Piper does such a good job in that movie.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. It's really something only he could have pulled off, I think, at that time.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not going to do the movie challenge this year because like I gave up last year in like the middle of like of it.
February.
Yeah. No, I may have. Yeah, I didn't get very far at all. So I'm not going to disappoint people again this year. So I will not be partaking. But that's awesome. You're doing it again. And Deliverance is a movie I don't know if I've ever watched in its entirety. Like I remember I've seen all the iconic scenes at this point. Yeah. Of course. I mean, I think it's just they're just in the lexicon of film, but I think it is one I feel like I need to watch in its entirety just to say I've done it at this point. But yeah. All right. So first one I got tonight is actually a screener that we received. The movie is going to be releasing apparently in theaters on January 31st. I think it will be a limited release, and then I think it is hitting Shudder not too long after that. And the movie is called Round the Decay. This one is directed by Adam Newman, who, from what I've seen, I believe is the first-time director, or he didn't have much in his filmography. This one Stars relatively unknowns, except for our buddy Damien Maffei, of course, friend of the show, who plays Monroe in this one. Also, I recognized one of the girls from Terrifier was in here as well, Terrifier 3, but not like a big character or anything like that. But yeah, so this one is definitely a low budget movie for sure, and the plot is basically we are in a sort of small touristy town during the off season. We have sort of mostly locals in the town. We have this one girl who sort of shows up after essentially she had a broken relationship, so she's trying to just sort of get away for the for the weekend or whatever like that. And basically what we come to find out is the town sort of has this hidden secret in the town that they've sort of kept under wraps, but there are a couple of people in the town that essentially is trying to unleash something sinister. And I don't want to give too much away, but I will say it's sort of a demon-like entity that sort of comes to play in this movie. And I'll leave it at that for now. The movie, like I said, it's low budget. And they did give us notes that this isn't going to be the full. They're still working on some things with a week to go in the movie, that they're trying to perfect the voice of the demon, which actually was one of my complaints, I gotta say. So I think if they can perfect it and make it better, I think that will definitely help. I will say the demon design or the creature design in this was pretty solid overall. I will say it's an okay enough movie, especially like with us now making our own movie. Like I realize how hard it is, obviously, and I definitely appreciate movies now a lot more, especially low budget affairs going in, just knowing when you don't have a lot to work with or you are, you're spent on a very short budget. I definitely have more appreciation now. So I think, it's a decent effort here. I mean, my biggest complaint is it's almost 2 hours long. It meanders on way too long. The first two-thirds of the movie were a bit of a chore, but I will say it definitely picks up a lot in the third act, and there's actually some really fun and great gore in the third act that definitely, for me, saved this movie from being something I would totally skip. I would say it's definitely, obviously I'd say support, obviously indie horror and stuff like that. It's not something I would personally rush out to go see in its theater release. But I think it's something, it's decent enough, if you're looking for something on Shudder. I think there's, some fun to be had here. And Damien is plays a really kind of fun role in this. I think the movie failed probably most in its writing. Some of the dialogue is rough, unfortunately, but it's all right. I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5 because I think the creature design is pretty cool, and there's some fun moments to be had. So that's Round the Decay. It should be hitting Shudder probably within the next few weeks. But yeah, I mean, if you do want to support indie horror, go see it in theaters.
Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. I watch everything Damien Maffei does, so
Yeah.
for better or worse. He's usually really good in them, but sometimes the movies,
Yeah, I mean,
a little
he
less
plays.
so.
Yeah, he's sort of the hero character in this one, kind of.
Right.
So
Which is
yeah,
nice because
so
usually he plays a lot
and
of the bad guy, like,
right, yeah. So
or
it's
starts
kind
as
of
the hero, becomes the bad guy.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
He's sort of like I would say the demon slayer type character in this one,
nice.
where he sort of comes out of nowhere, the sort of mysterious guy, and helps the townspeople try to fight this thing off. So yeah, it's a
Right.
fun role for him.
Nice. All right, my second film this week is a 2024 film that is called Nosferatu. So Nosferatu is a remake of the 1922 classic. So this one, I mean, most people know the story, but in case you don't, it's basically a couple. They're kind of happy together and everything like that, and the guy is sent to Count Orlok's castle to like do a business deal where he moves Count Orlok to a building that's like in front of his house, and Count Orlok starts like kind of acting weird towards him. Meanwhile, the girl starts having like sexual visions of Count Orlok, and there's like something like a dark presence that's going over the town, and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I'm sure most people have seen at least a variation of the story at this point. So you know, I liked it. I thought it was decent. I thought the acting was okay, and I thought Count Orlok's performance is actually really cool. I really liked the look of Count Orlok personally. I thought it was a good recreation of Count Orlok from the 1922 film. I thought the use of shadows was really well done. I think the story played out really well, and yeah, I thought it was good. My issue with it, simple. It was so almost shot for shot from 1922 that I don't know why there was even a point of making this. It just it was just too close to the original, and the original is so good that I just didn't really see, I guess, the point to it all. So yeah, I was a 3 out of 5 on this one. It's just like it's just like, okay, I watched Nosferatu again in a way. And I know what you're all thinking right now. You're like thinking that seems like a weird review for a movie. I thought he would have more to say about it. And yes, you would be correct because this is 2024's Nosferatu. It is not Robert Eggers' 2024 Nosferatu. It is the other one that is on Tubi, and it stars Doug Jones as Count Orlok. Because although I think Nosferatu, the Robert Eggers, actually came on VOD today, I haven't watched that one yet. But I heard good things about this particular version of it. And yeah, like I said, it's so shot for shot. It's black and white. It just does too much of the same. Like to me, if you're doing a remake that's already like really good, you need to do something to make it worth your while, and this one really doesn't. And kudos to Doug Jones. He does a really good job of imitating Max Schreck as Count Orlok, but it's basically the same performance. So it just didn't feel like there's anything that's brought to the table here that's worth watching. If you're gonna watch a story, just watch the original. So yeah, Nosferatu over on Tubi.
Yeah, are you gonna check out this week the Nosferatu, or
It
are you gonna
depends what
watch
the
to
what the
see?
rental fee is.
Yeah,
$25 I find steep for a rental.
sure.
If I find it on I don't think the 4K or Blu-ray is out yet. So I'm probably gonna wait for
Yeah.
that at this point because
Okay.
it's one
Yeah,
I'll probably want to
physical.
own.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Cool.
soon, I'm sure.
Soon. Apparently, I was reading an article the other day that Eggers was going to make a Frankenstein movie,
Yeah.
but it ended up not coming about. But that would have been interesting too.
I,
But
I respect that though, that even he's like, you know what, if it's not the right idea, I'm not gonna just
Mhm.
do it, I'm
Yeah.
gonna find something else. Now, hopefully that other thing is not like a labyrinth, but
Yeah.
which we talked about in the past.
I
But
don't think it's.
I
I think that's
respect
not
that
gonna
he's
happen.
like, yeah, I respect that he saw that, okay, this is just not working the way I thought it would. And I can't wait to see Del Toro's version of that story, so which is coming out this year, I think. So
Yes,
yeah,
hopefully.
should be pretty cool.
Yeah, that's is this the Frank? Is this the same one with Jacob Elordi supposed to be
Yeah, I
playing
think so.
Frankenstein?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that should be interesting. There's also The Bride is supposed to be coming out this year too, the
Yeah,
one with Christian Bale.
I see
I
it on
believe.
all the like 2025 list, but I haven't heard anything concrete about it that says that it's actually coming out this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Maggie Gyllenhaal directed, I
yeah,
believe.
mhm.
That sounds interesting as well.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
low key
man.
getting all the Universal Monster
Yeah,
remakes without
apparently. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting without the sort of
the
this is
fuss about it.
this universe.
Yeah,
We got Winnell's universe now, but yeah,
sure.
and now everyone else is sort of going off and doing new iterations. I wonder if it has anything to do with Universal's park, like they tried to like
You know,
coincide it.
you know what it could have to do with? I think I saw the Universal Monsters. Their like public domain rights are up in the
Hmm,
foreseeable future,
that makes
and
sense.
they're trying to like strike while not everyone in the
Yeah,
world can make their
everyone,
version of it.
right? Because we're gonna get, Steamboat Mickey coming out, which I'm sure
Well, it's
people
a good,
saw the image there of
yeah.
David Howard Thornton as
I
Steamboat
saw
Mickey.
that first Mickey fucking one, the
Oh,
Mousetrap, and it was
Mousetrap, yeah.
fucking awful.
Yeah,
Uh,
at least it looks like they had pretty cool makeup budget for as
yeah,
sort of goofy as it
they,
looks.
they
The
got David
makeup
Howard
looks
Thornton, so
right. Yeah.
not that the Grinch apparently wasn't great, but
Yeah, I
yeah,
heard completely skipped that one. I heard it was bad, but I'm still want to watch it at some point, but
yeah, maybe next Christmas.
maybe. Maybe if it's available anywhere. I know it's
It like disappeared after it came out.
yeah.
I haven't seen it on any streaming service since. It
Yeah.
is on VOD because I
If it
thought about
hits,
watching it,
yeah,
but
if it hits streaming, maybe it'll be like our Christmas review next year or
yeah,
something.
I
I don't
agree.
know. We'll see. All right. My last one tonight, and I think Steve, you want to talk about this one too, right? Is the Punishment movie we got from
Yes.
Todd. She came from the woods, which was on Tubi, correct?
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So this one you can check out on Tubi if you want. Has some familiar faces in here. William Sadler, also the mom from what was she in Stranger Things? She looked like familiar. I couldn't remember. Cara
Yeah,
Buono.
I've seen her before.
Yeah, I don't know if it was Stranger Things, but I've definitely seen her and stuff before. But this one is essentially a summer camp movie where basically the kids do this sort of. There's like this urban legend about this woman, and they do a ritual. This camp counselors do a ritual in the woods. I think it's like the last night of summer camp, and they unleash this sort of witch entity, and she wreaks havoc on the camp and the counselors, and that's basically the plot of the movie. Yeah, man, I mean, I didn't love this one, but it was watchable. It wasn't. We've had worse punishment movies. Just overall, like, I found it just be like bland. Like, it was just very generic, very sort of by the book, very paint by numbers for the most part. I felt like tonally it was like really all over the place. It was like I felt like it needed to pick a lane. It was either okay, commit to being full spoof or commit to actually being like a legit horror movie. And it felt like it went back and forth between the two. And like I just didn't know whether I was supposed to be taking it serious or whether I was supposed to be laughing half the time. So I think that was a mistake. I found it funny that the witch was called Agatha, considering we just got, the Agatha all along. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I don't think it was, but you know, overall, like I mean, I think the best part about it was Agatha. Like I liked I didn't love the design of her, but I liked the sort of lore of that character. I thought it was kind of cool. So that kept me interested enough to keep watching. I wish, we got better kills and stuff like that. William Sadler should have been in it more. He probably had the best death in the movie though. Holy shit, that fucking head explosion was pretty amazing. That was worth probably the watch alone. But yeah, for the most part, I found it to be lacking and disappointing. I gave it a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've seen so many like camp horror movies at this point. This one actually gave me the vibes of Fear Street, the second one there. The just in terms of like the vibe, Fear Street did it way fucking better. But it kind of gave me that whole kind of it had that look to it for me. And I was really enjoying it at first. I thought the characters they did a good job of defining like who the characters were and what their deal was. William Sadler, he's just good in everything. I just fucking love that guy. He plays his typical like sarcastic old man that he plays in everything. But he was in it more than I expected though. For such a low budget movie, I felt it was going to be one of those things where they couldn't afford him, so you'd see him for like 2 minutes at the beginning and maybe 2 minutes at the end type of deal. But he does show up for quite a bit of the film, and he comes back pretty quickly when he does leave. So that was pretty cool. One of my issues with it is that at some point the witch she like possesses all of the kids that were being driven away from the camp in a bus, and then those kids are basically like her minions to attack people, and they just weren't terrifying at all. If you paid close attention to the kids, it looks like they were having fun. It doesn't look like they took this assignment seriously. So, you could have done it so much scarier. And they're just like regular kids. They didn't have like glowing eyes. They didn't have like anything that made him look scary. They just fucking like little kids running after you, and it just I don't know. It didn't do it for me at all. I agree. I didn't love the look of the witch. I thought it could have been stronger. And I don't know, her deal was also super weird. I don't really understand, like her motivations weren't very clear for me, and she would attack, like the way she would attack people. There's just a lot of issues with the story, but the biggest issue is that it's bland. It doesn't do anything new. It takes a trope we've seen so many times and doesn't improve it in any way or do anything different. So, like you said, it was watchable, for a punishment film. This was like as easy as it's gonna get.
Yeah.
I gave it the same thing, 2 out of 5. It just,
Yeah. I mean, it shot really well. Like it
yeah,
looked good. So I mean, there's that. Like I hate like watching those like low budget movies where it just looks so fucking shitty. Like, like at least
yeah,
the cinematography was good and stuff like that. So
yep,
yeah, but yeah, definitely. I mean, there's so many better summer camp movies. I mean, like you said, the Fear Street movie, which is kind of a similar vibe, is so much better. So
yeah. And that was my favorite Fear Street like section was the
yeah.
camp one of the three that
Hmm.
we saw.
Yeah. And we got more coming. More for
Yeah, this year I think, right? We got
yeah,
a,
this year. Yeah.
but it's just one film I think this year. It's not like,
One, but and there's more on the way though, from what I'm hearing. Like I think they're doing at least like 3 or 4 more they just announced.
oh
So
yeah, jeez.
there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot coming.
Yeah, but
So
that was a cool like little run we had. I think we did 3 episodes in a row.
yeah, that was
Fear
fun.
Street. I don't know. Did we do 3 episodes in a row? Or we did all three in
I
one episode. I think we
I
did all
think we
three in
did
one
all
episode.
three in one episode
Yeah.
because it came out weekly, which was a
Yeah.
cool
It was
idea.
a cool idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that idea. It was like in the public like conversation for
yeah,
which
yeah.
was unique, I guess, for a film. So yeah,
It was.
it was
Yeah.
a cool way they did it.
Yeah. Very cool. And we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what they do with the next Fear Street movies, and then I think there's besides Fear Street, I think there's God, there's something else coming out. It might be like Christopher Pike, but I don't know. They're like really going into that sort of universe of like those like popular 90s like young
Yeah.
teen books. So I'm interested to see like where this comes out.
Mhm.
Also, we get Hard Eyes coming out as
Yeah,
far
soon,
as
right?
Valentine's horror. Yeah, it comes Valentine's weekend, I think, or something. So
Mhm.
that one has potential to be a really cool slasher I mean, literally, we only have My Bloody Valentine right now, so this has and Valentine, I guess. So this has potential to be another
Yeah,
cool Valentine's themed horror movie. Not a fan of Valentine. Did we cover? I feel like we covered that, right? At
probably.
one
I
point.
mean, yeah. I know that this year we're doing The Love Witch,
Yes.
for which is
Never
actually one
seen
of
it.
the
I'm
yeah,
very
me
excited.
neither. So I've been
Yeah.
holding off, like just
Yeah.
in case we like review it on Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
I'm excited. Everyone seems to really like that one too, so
Mhm.
I'm excited. It seems like it's in my wheelhouse too, from what I've seen. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for it. Alrighty. I guess that's it, right?
Yep.
That's it for
So,
what watch.
mhm.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, sorry. Thanks, Todd, for giving us a pretty softball punishment movie. It really wasn't that bad. Even though it wasn't a good movie, it was still all right enough that we were
Mhm.
able to make it through. So, and there'll be another punishment movie coming soon, sooner than we want,
Yeah,
for our
yeah.
Super Bowl bet this year. So we'll see who wins that and who will be punished in just a few weeks. Alrighty. Well, it is time, ladies and gentlemen, now for our main event of the evening, 2025's Wolfman, directed and written by Lee Winnell, starring Lee Winnell. He's in this?
Yeah, like a
Ken?
super small role.
Okay, starring
I think he's actually the voice on the radio or something.
Okay. Starring Lee Winnell, apparently. Matilda Firth, Sam Yeager, Julia Garner, and Christopher Abbott as Wolfman? Question mark. All right. Plot. A family at a remote farmhouse is attacked by an unseen animal, but as the night stretches on, the father begins to transform into something unrecognizable. Alrighty. Steve, we're toddlers tonight, so you get a lot of pressure on you.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Yeah, I definitely don't do this as well as Todd, but from what I could remember, the story starts with a boy and his dad. They're living in a cabin in the wilderness. It seems to be that it's a very strict upbringing, like very military-like upbringing for the boy. They go hunting, and the boy is like a little like lost to, he's like kind of doing his own thing, and he doesn't really listen to his dad all that well. They see a deer, and the dad goes to shoot it, but he misses, and then the boy just like disappears. Turns out that the boy just wanted to go shoot the deer essentially for his dad. So he runs off into the woods to do that. But it's not a deer that he sees in the sights. It's some kind of wolf creature, but you really get a very, very quick shot at it. His dad does eventually find him, but when the boy tells him what's going on, he's like, okay, we got to go to a deer stand because things are about to get dangerous. They go into the deer stand, and you can hear this gigantic like beast climbing the deer stand, and it doesn't actually get them because it gets distracted. But that's where the story kind of ends for the like prologue. Oh, they do go back to the house, and like the dad's on the radio saying, "We got to hunt this thing. This thing's gonna kill my boy." To someone else, and the boy hears it and finds out that it's some kind of like wolf that's attacking people that might be having to do with somebody who was lost in the woods previously and got some kind of disease that turned him into this wolf. So then the story takes place, I think, like 30 years later. The boy's grown up. He's got a family of his own. He's got a daughter. He's got a wife, but he has like a kind of strained relationship with his wife. And he gets a letter that says his dad is now confirmed dead, or not confirmed dead, but like presumed dead, like officially by the government because he had gone missing like years before, and he knew that at some point the government would essentially just declare him dead. So because of that, he gets access to his house, and he's like, okay, well, I got this in my will, so how about we all go to the house and pick up everything, like pack up everything, and while we're there, we should enjoy time as a family because we're starting to split apart a little bit. So they go to the house, but on the way, they find a guy, and then they run into a werewolf, and from there, the werewolf starts attacking them and their family. It does hit the main guy, and then he starts slowly transforming into another werewolf. So that's basically the gist of the story, I think. So, Joe, what do you think of our first 2025 review?
Wolfman 2025. Yeah, man. I mean, to start, I loved Winnell's take on the Invisible Man. I thought it was great. So I was pretty excited to see this version. I mean, I guess I'll fully admit the Wolfman has never been like my favorite, Universal monster movie. We actually just covered it, right?
Yeah, that was the
Not too
last one
long
we
ago,
did.
right? Yeah. Larry Talbot. Yeah. I will say, I mean, this was different, right? I mean, it was very different than, any sort of other iteration of Wolfman we've seen. Overall, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I think it's definitely a solid movie. I enjoyed it for the most part. I definitely had issues with it, which we'll get into. But yeah, man, I think my biggest issue with it was some of the performances like didn't I mean, I'll just say it, Julia Garner's performance, I did not love her in this, and I love Julia Garner as an actor. I think she's a fantastic actress, but I don't know, man, there was just something off about her in this movie. I think it was like the chemistry between her and Chris. I know they're supposed to be sort of in a broken relationship or whatever like that, but like I just never felt like there was like any sort of connection. Like I never even felt like they were like supposed to like married or anything. Like there just was some sort of disconnect there. That was just sort of throwing me off. The movie is very minimalist for sure. I mean, like once we're in the woods for essentially 80%, of the movie, and it's literally just our three characters. But I was, interested and entertained throughout for the most part. I think Chris Rabbitt was fantastic in this as the Wolfman father character. The movie surprisingly it was really focused on heart. The movie had a lot of emotion, which I thought was interesting. It was like more about the human aspect of turning into a Wolfman and like sort of the ramifications of like what that would do to you and your family. Which was different. And you're either gonna be on board for that or you're probably gonna hate it. Which it seems like people do, based on what I've seen, people do seem to be pretty split on this one. But yeah, I mean, I thought there was some pretty cool choices made, and we'll get into it. But yeah, like I came out of it being, it was good. But it's not gonna I'd be surprised if it makes my top 10.
Yeah, I'm basically in the same boat as you are. I liked it. there's a lot of things I loved about it, but there are definitely some issues, some of them that you mentioned before. I agree 100%. I did not feel that chemistry between the main couple whatsoever. I mean, it could have been a sister, honestly, just taking care of her niece. It would have really been the same thing because there was zero chemistry between those two. And I get they're having issues, but that was like way beyond just having issues. That was like, yeah, we've been, separated for a long time type of deal. Like you said, there aren't a lot of characters in this. It's basically the family and then, another guy at some point. And so it's, for a movie that doesn't have a lot of characters, that's always in the woods, a lot of it takes place at the house. They did a good job, I think, of keeping it interesting, keeping it fresh. I love that you always felt the threat of the werewolf. He's always out there somewhere. You don't really know where, but he's out there and he's wants to attack the house. And I really like that. And I thought the movie did a really good job at just the atmosphere of fear. There's not a whole lot of time where they're letting kind of stepping off the gas. It's really like go 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 throughout the whole movie, and there's not a lot of joy to be had in this movie either. It's very dark. It's very just yeah. It's good. Like as a horror film, I think it succeeded.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think, when people are expecting a werewolf movie, they're expecting sort of this epic transformation. And this movie didn't do that. Like, it's a very slow, role evolving of this
Like The
sort of
Fly.
wolf man. Yeah, exactly like The Fly, which actually I was reading an interview with Winnell, and he said he was inspired a lot by The Fly when making this movie, which, I mean, I don't mind it, right? Like, it's doing something different, right, with this sort of tale. And I think that's where it lost some people is, people were expecting sort of this full werewolf wolfman transformation, and you don't get it. But I mean, technically the movie is Wolfman. It's not werewolf. So, it's going to be sort of a hybrid of it. I mean, I think a lot of people, what'd you think of the design? Like, I didn't mind it. Like, did it blow me away? No, but I thought it was decent.
I think what you said there is key. It wasn't a werewolf, really, and if
Hmm.
you compare it to like a werewolf, it does fail a little bit, but it was
Hmm.
very much a wolf man. They treated it more like a disease
Yeah.
than like some
Yeah, it
kind
was
of
like very
supernatural.
zombie-esque
Yeah,
for a
like
while going on there, like a virus.
exactly, more so than like a supernatural element.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that take. It was different. It kind of did the same thing as Invisible Man, where it took kind of a real thing that
Hmm.
transformed into like a little bit of science fiction, but they treat it like a disease, and I actually thought that was really cool and plays a lot into the movie, like who infected him and all that
Right.
stuff. So no, I was actually on board with the design. Like it's not my favorite design ever, but it worked for this film.
Yeah. I agree. Like I never like was like, oh, that sucks. Like I was like, "Well, it looks pretty cool." Like, like it had like a cool, and it's all practical, right? Like would you rather
Yeah.
like a CGI like sort of werewolf thing going on? Like they could have like completely fucked that up, but they went practical. And obviously we aren't getting like a epic an American Werewolf in London type, transformation thing. But it worked for me. It worked as well, especially with like sort of that minimalist approach they kind of went with this. I thought it worked pretty well, and absolutely loved some of the transformation scenes. The fucking something that you've never seen before is like what the Wolfman is seeing during the transition, where they did that sort of switch, which I thought was one of the coolest parts of the entire movie, is where we kind of see what Christopher Abbott is seeing, where he slowly starts not understanding the family. You sort of see like this sort of like blue sort
Yeah,
of
it gave
like
me like Predator vibes.
distortion. Yeah, it was really really cool, and I really love that. And it also like, man, like I just the relationship between him and his daughter too was just like, it just like on where the chemistry didn't work between him and the wife, like it was made up for between the chemistry between him and the daughter, which I thought was really good. And it was just heartbreaking to see this man who, by all accounts seemed like a great man, a great father. Seeing him just slowly declining was kind of heartbreaking.
I agree. Yeah, what I love the most about this movie is like his point of view
Yeah.
of the transformation. And one of my favorite scenes of the year, I mean, obviously it's early, but something that I really enjoyed and I could see myself remembering for a long time is that scene where he hears something like just banging upstairs, like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he goes to check, and it's just like a tarantula on the wall with
Hmm.
the 8 legs, but he hears so like clear and well and loud that even the tarantula's like light
Yeah.
touch on the bath is causing him to like hear it really well. It was a really interesting kind of look into the perspective of the Wolfman, and I thought that was honestly one of the most brilliant things about this movie.
Agreed. And the sound design in this movie is like a 10 out of 10.
Yep,
Like it's
absolutely.
fucking awesome. Like well, I mean, I went and saw it in a theater that had like really loud speakers and it was awesome. Like, it was definitely A plus on the sound design in this one. I guess let's get into like sort of the big sort of twist and reveal we get. I will say like one thing we haven't mentioned is like the beginning, sort of, them going to find, they run into sort of this character he grew up with, which I thought was good tension. Like even though like he didn't seem like a threat, there
Hmm.
almost felt like a threat there because he, obviously he had a gun and like the wife's kind of nervous about him. But by all accounts, he seems like a decent enough guy
Yeah,
and
I
doesn't
mean,
seem like a threat, but they
they,
keep it like somewhat.
they've
No, go
seen
ahead.
Deliverance, yeah. So
Right, yeah, yeah. Right. There's like some like there always seems to be like a mysterious sort of like thing with him. So like that whole sort of scene where they're driving and stuff like that, there's a bit of tension there, which I thought was really well done. Um, but then of course we get into the car crash scene where, he sees this wolf man in the woods and we get the sort of attack scene, which unfortunately I think was spoiled by the trailer. Like the trailer gave away sort of that whole sort of scene, which I thought kind of sucked. Like once again, trailers just giving away a little too much. I think it would have been like if I didn't know that that car was going to crash, like I think it would have been way more effective had I not known that going in. But it's still like a pretty cool scene, and he doesn't get bit, he gets scratched by the werewolf, and that's kind of what sets us off. But who is this wolf man that's sort of attacking them throughout the movie? Well, it is revealed that it is his father. They focus on, the tattoo at one point at the beginning of the movie. And, once does he kills him, right? And then it
yeah,
sort of
it's after he
zooms
killed
in.
him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We get like a sort of Wolfman battle royale at one point, and he kills his dad. And it's revealed that it was his father that, we don't know what happened. We assume, at the beginning of the movie, it's kind of implied that he sees this wolf man and he wants to go and take this wolf man out. So we assume that he at one point tries to goes hunting to kill this other wolf man, and in the process is infected himself. So that leads me to say, is there a whole thing of like wolfmen out there? Apparently, there's multiple wolfmen going around, or was there just the one? I also found it interesting that like at one point well, at the beginning of the movie, they sort of played in to say it was almost like a Native American curse too, which they didn't really delve any further into that, which I think could have been interesting.
Yeah, I thought about that during the movie. Like, is there going to be a third Wolfman that's
Yeah,
going to come in, the one who infected the dad? But then I
yeah.
thought maybe it's a situation where the Wolfman, like, it's basically a cycle. There can't be two of them because they'll kill each other. It's like
Hmm.
they can't be in the same woods together. So there's always just one. Like the dad
Yeah,
one probably killed the one that did him. Then the son kills his dad, and
sure.
it continues. So Julia Gardner's character essentially ended that line, at the end of the movie.
Hmm.
So that's how I kind of saw it. Whether or not, that's the case, I don't know. It did like dawn on me at some point, like, is a third Wolfman gonna show up almost like a
Yeah,
fucking like wrestler, like coming in at the last second for Money in the Bank,
big
like,
reveal.
yeah. But I thought with the dad, I thought that was enough of a reveal. They didn't need to explain more so than that, but
Hmm.
yeah.
I personally didn't see it come, like, didn't, it never crossed my mind that it was
Oh,
the
I
dad.
did because he was missing,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
It's
it
like
makes
typical
sense.
movie thing, right?
No,
If he's
I mean,
not,
yeah, it makes sense, but I
yeah.
was like never really thinking about it.
Oh yeah,
But Like it makes sense. I mean, obviously, like now that I see it, it's like seems clear as day that yeah, I mean that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good enough like twist, and it made 100% sense. So, I liked that aspect of it.
Yeah, and I like
Um,
that we didn't see a clear Wolfman until like really late in the film.
yeah,
Every attack at the beginning is extremely quick,
hands,
or
yeah,
it's in movement, or it's the shadow because he's like stalking outside and they're inside kind of watching his shadow pass by the windows. Like it was really cool that they really made a slow reveal. But they did
yeah,
also give us the full look, once they start battling each other and stuff. So I thought that was
yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, there's great action, like you said. I mean, the movie never really has a dull moment. It's fucking like always constant sort of action sequences going on, whether it be sort of where they're on top of that, like greenhouse type thing that's like
Yeah, that's cool.
plastic. That
Yeah,
was
that
a
was
that
awesome.
was a great that was a great scene. And then them jumping the battery, and the Wolfman sort of reveal there in the window and stuff. I mean, yeah, there's great action throughout. It's action packed. It's good, man. It is a really really solid movie at the end of the day. But I do think it's a step down from like The Invisible Man. I think they
Yeah.
did take a step back. Like I think The Invisible Man was just fantastic. Like it had this movie doesn't have the sort of social commentary as much. Like it has a little bit, but not as much as The Invisible Man had, where it's like a great story, but also like good messaging as well. But yeah, I mean, as it stands, it's still a solid
Yeah,
movie.
I think part of that is because it was so contained. It was such a
Yeah,
small story, whereas Invisible Man, you had a lot of these crazy scenes out in the public, and
yeah,
obviously the scene I remember the most is when she's at the dinner table at a restaurant, and
yeah,
that
yeah, oh,
kill.
yeah, yeah.
But you couldn't get something like that in this movie because
Sure.
it really is these basically like three characters, the Wolfman and then the friend at one point quickly, but.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there wasn't a lot of people to feed off of. It was just these characters. So,
Yeah,
mm. But that's their own fault, right?
sure. Yeah, and then we get to the very ending where we go. I loved the how they went back to the beginning of the movie. Right, it was like the
Mm.
with the bear, and said now it's the dad as the wolf, them up in the sort of the hunting
Mhm.
thing in the tree, and they kill him, and it's sad, man. It's extremely sad, and like then that's it. Like the dad's dead. They had to kill him, and it just ends. I mean, there's
Yeah,
not much to it. Like it's pretty basic and a simple story, but like it was very effective for me.
yeah, I agree. It was a really I kind of saw that that's how they were going to end it. Kind of,
Yeah.
I didn't think
I
it would
mean,
be almost like shot for shot the
I
same
mean,
way.
you knew he wasn't making it out,
Yeah, sure.
especially man when that scene too where he fucking eats his own
Not,
leg off and like
yeah,
running through the woods with the fucking sort of stump was
yeah.
really fucking
Nice
cool.
little nod to Saw.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
which
right.
is
Yeah, and the bear trap, yeah.
yeah, especially with Lee Winnell. That's
Yeah.
made a lot of sense. But yeah, it's no, it was cool. Like I enjoyed it a lot. But like you said, not like top 10 of the year. And I mean, not right now
Yeah.
it's number one, of course, but but by the end of the year, I doubt it'll be in my top 10. But I appreciate it. It's
Hmm.
I actually I like it better than the Wolfman, the original Wolfman. But I wasn't
Yeah.
a huge
Yeah.
fan of the original Wolfman either. I thought he was a little creepy and
Yeah.
stuff. So
No, I agree. I think this. I mean, I'd rather watch this one than the original myself. Yeah, one thing I was surprised about was that there was no like callbacks to the original at all. Like I didn't pick
one.
anything up.
The name on the truck I think was Talbot, like Talbot
Okay,
Industries or whatever. But
okay,
that's really like it
that's
was
it.
very
Yeah,
minor. Yeah,
sure. All right, cool. All right, well, I think we pretty much went through everything.
yeah, I think
Unless you get
so.
anything else, yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so all right, let's get into rating it then. Yeah, man, it's solid. Like I said, not top 10 worthy, but it's a great watch. It's something I would watch again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I mean, it has a lot of heart for sure. I mean, I didn't cry or anything, but I definitely felt like emotional. Like, like towards the end, you definitely feel Christopher Abbott gave a fantastic
Yeah,
performance.
you did.
Yeah. And, I think Winnell was 2 for 2, in his Universal Monster movies. And, so, that's a win in and of itself. And I give it a 3.5 out of 5.
Yep, I'm right there with you. 3.5 out of 5. Solid movie. I don't think it's going to have the impact Invisible Man had.
No.
I don't think it's going to do all that well in theaters. It's not going to have the lasting effect that Invisible Man had, but I think it's a solid film overall. I can see why people are down on it, but yeah, I enjoyed it and I would definitely watch again. Probably not this year. Like it's not one I feel like I need to rewatch at the end of the year, just to remember and stuff like that. But I'm definitely glad I watched it and yeah, it's a good one.
Yep. And it looks like it came in third this week at the box office.
Oh,
Took
jeez.
in 12.5 million on 25 million budget. So, not great. It might make its budget back. Maybe it'll be close. But yeah, not
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 the hit
not
that we're hoping
not great.
for.
Not the hit. Yeah, I'm sure not the hit. I mean, but they also released this in January, so I think they kind of felt like this wasn't gonna do as well. Like whenever
But
January's
what
kind of
wasn't
known as
Invisible Man
dumping
like
grounds.
really early in the year? I feel like it was a really
I
early
can't
film as well.
remember. Maybe. I
So,
mean, January's kind of known as the dumping grounds for
it
for
is.
horror
Yeah.
movies. So we'll see. I mean, but yeah, so we'll see. Like yeah, I would hope that the studio will continue on with Winnell and let him keep doing these Universal Monster movies. I mean, they're the best iterations we've gotten since the originals, probably. Obviously they tried to do shit before and failed
Right.
miserably. So
But
I
what
think
does he
they're
do
actually,
next?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think you can do Dracula just because like
It's
Nosferatu came
well, and
out.
just Dracula is just overdone
Yeah, it's like
like crazy, you
overdone.
know?
You can't do Frankenstein now, I feel like, because you get
No.
The Bride and you get Del Toro's Frankenstein coming out. So what does that leave us? The Mummy?
I like to do like Phantom of the Opera, but the like more of closer
Yeah.
to the original rather than the play, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then will
Sure.
people complain because it's not, you
I
know?
think you could do something really cool with the Mummy, and we haven't had a really cool Mummy
That's
movie in a
I mean, yeah,
while.
but that's the one that killed the universe last time, so I feel like
Right.
studios are like very,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, but if I think if anyone's gonna do it good, it'd probably be Winnell because like I mean
yeah.
I don't even like the Mummy's not a horror like the Brendan Fraser ones aren't like horror movies
No,
really, and then
neither
neither
was Tom
was
Cruise.
the Tom Cruise one. So like if
Yeah.
you actually have like when was the last time we got like a really good like mummy horror movie? Like never,
Yeah, right.
like
Yeah,
I can't think of
like pure
anything.
horror. No,
Yeah. I can't think of shit. I can't think of anything. So I think the mummy is probably the right choice to go. I don't know what you would create story-wise for something like that,
Mhm.
but um yeah, I'm curious. I mean, what else is left, right? Like
Not much.
yeah, that's about it, right? As far
Yeah,
as Universal monsters
those are the
go.
big ones anyway.
Yeah.
There's like Jekyll and Hyde, and there's a bunch of other ones that they consider Universal
Yeah.
monster films, but the main like classic
Jekyll and
ones.
Hyde's been so done to death, like so many
That's the
different
thing too, right?
iterations of
That's what I'm
it.
saying.
Yeah.
It's like all of these have been done
So
so many
I guess the
times.
mummy. I guess the mummy would be the best way to
I mean,
go.
there's also Creature, right? I guess is
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
the one that
Creature. I was
hasn't actually been in. You have Shape of
yeah,
Water, but it
Shape of
wasn't
Water,
quite. It was
horror enough. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. All right, yeah. So Creature or Mummy, I think will be the right place to go next for Winnell if he's gonna go anywhere.
yeah.
And yeah, I'd be interested to see what he can come up with. I don't know if he's in the process of writing them or something, but we'll see. I'd also like to see Winnell branch off and do something original at some point. 'Cause, I
Sure.
mean, the dude seems to be a really good writer and he comes up with some pretty cool stuff. So
hmm
we'll see what he does next. But he's definitely a shining light in the horror genre right now.
Yeah, but
Oh,
now that we've given kind of our impressions of the movie, what do
that's
our
right.
friends at
Mhm.
Letterbox think?
Our friends over at Letterboxd. Let's see. I wasn't ready for this. I forgot. And so let me pull it up really quick here, ladies and gentlemen. Our friends over at Letterboxd have it at a 2.6 out of 5. So pretty low. Not great. It's sitting kind of at a very middle of the road rating. So we're a lot higher than
Yeah,
the aggregate average score right now over
and
on
that's even
Letterboxd.
close to where like so I on my Letterbox I don't have the Letterbox rating. I put my friends' average rating because I
Hmm.
trust that more than just regular people, I guess. And
Yeah.
it's at a 2.9, so they're not actually far
Still,
from.
yeah,
But
no.
yeah, it's
So
lower than.
most people aren't loving this one. And I agree, Steve. I with you. I can see why people aren't loving this one. I think they're not being like a full werewolf thing is probably what threw people off. I
I
also
agree.
think that the minimalist approach of it too is probably threw some people off as well. But
And it wasn't very remake compared to like, it was
sure,
very kind of reimagining
yeah,
of Wolfman, so.
definitely, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There was a very lively discussion on our Discord though about it. So we have a spoiler room in our Discord that you have to opt
Hmm.
into, and people had like a lot of opinions about the movie. So
Hmm.
got a lot of people talking at least. So that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, and it looks better than the when they did a Halloween Horror Nights
Oh man,
that
yeah.
everyone freaked out about there.
Oh my God, yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they
the
probably,
marketing for this movie was really weird.
yeah.
I felt they released like his transformation
Yeah, that
on
was
social
I did.
media.
I stayed away from that because
Me
I
too.
heard
So I
about
don't know what they
that,
actually
and I
showed.
was like,
Knowing,
"Why would you do that? Like, why would you
yeah,
show the full reveal? Like, I mean, Nosferatu did it so perfectly, like not revealing it.
right.
And even though we had strong opinions of it, well, you didn't yet because you haven't
I
seen it,
haven't
but
yet, but
even
I've
though
seen it. I've seen the
most
design now
right,
because it's all over the place.
most people had pretty strong opinions about that, but it was the right move. Like, don't reveal your monster, man, before the movie. It's just a mistake, for the most part. Hold off on it.
Yep.
Um, but all right. So I think that's about it then for this week's episode. Next week, what do we got, Steve?
Oh boy, we have a heavy lift next week because we're not watching
Mm.
a movie. We're not watching two movies. We're watching three movies. This
Why?
episode we
Why
talked
did you do
about.
this to us?
Yeah, I like to torture you guys once in a while. We've been talking about doing this for years,
Yeah,
and I just like, it's cold as fuck outside.
it
So let's
is.
honor that cold and watch some of the coldest movies that I know about. So we're gonna do The Thing triple feature. So The
That's
Thing from
right.
Another World, then with The Thing, Carpenter's The Thing, and then the remake from like 2011, which is
Yes.
actually the very first Halloween Horror Nights house I've ever done. My
Wow.
first year was The Thing remake house.
Never seen the Thing remake, so I'm intrigued to watch it. I mean, I don't know how you can improve over Carpenter's, but
Had
we'll
you seen
see.
the
I
original?
I had never seen the
I know
original
you just
either.
watched it recently, but
I
yeah.
did, yeah.
Okay.
I watched so yeah, I'll give
So
I
yeah, so
never seen it.
two new
Yep.
movies. Yeah.
Yes. Two new movies for me. How about
Mhm.
you?
I saw the remake and Carpenter's. Obviously, I'd never seen the
Okay.
original. So.
Okay. You watch it
Oh no,
yet?
I did watch the original. I'm
Okay.
lying. I watched it but it's been probably fucking 25
Yeah.
years. I
Okay.
remember it was playing on TV one time, and I was like, I don't think I knew I was watching it. I just remember like vividly certain shots from it. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
It should be a really fun discussion
it
doing
should
three
be.
movies. Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah.
It'll be a busy week next week. Three movies. So check it out. You can definitely find all three pretty accessible movies, I would say.
Mhm.
So go and check out all three Thing movies to prepare for next week. In the meantime, you can keep up with the podcast Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Just search the Horror Squad Podcast. You can email us anytime, the Horror Squad Podcast at gmail.com. But of course, the absolute best way to keep up with the podcast is our Discord. Totally and completely free to join. Amazing community over there. We do movie club every single month, as well as just talking anything and everything horror and non-horror over there. It's very active. A lot of new faces have come in this year. Come in, join the discussion. We love it and would appreciate you joining us over there. How do you join the Discord? It's linked over on our Instagram, or just send us an email or a DM, and we will get you a link to join that Discord. Also, don't forget, leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That helps spreads the word. Or you can buy merch, tpublic.com, the Horror Squad podcast. That's also linked over on our Instagram. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, don't forget important dates. As of right now, the only important date to remember is Hocus Pocus weekend for this year, which is going to be October 3rd through the 5th, but I'm going to call it October 2nd through the 5th because the parade is that Thursday. You definitely want to come. The cast is planning on being in the parade and whatnot. So Hocus Pocus weekend, October 2nd through the 5th this year. Don't wait. If you're thinking of coming at all, book your hotel. You can always cancel it. It gets tougher and tougher to book in Salem or anywhere around Salem the longer you wait. So definitely get your hotel if you're even considering coming, and we'll give you updates. Tickets aren't on sale for anything yet, but a lot of events are being planned for that whole entire weekend. And that's it, folks. So we'll see you next week for our Thing triple feature. See ya.
Bye.